Police and prosecutors say Pooh Shiesty was part of the group that ended up in this parking lot that October afternoon where the shots flew, and it happened right across the street from the police department.
I don't like you, cuz. I ain't never gave you a pay. I'm gonna keep 100. I never liked this you.
I ain't gonna lie, cuz. I never been a fan of you. I never even thought about type you in on YouTube or none.
What's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's KB and we locked in. Now let's jump into it. Today, we're gonna be speaking about Pooh Shiesty, his background, how he blew up, and why he is facing serious prison time. Pooh Shiesty, real name Lontrell Williams Jr., is from the south side of Memphis and grew up in the Cane Creek projects. In order to understand Pooh, you've got to understand where he comes from. Memphis is a notoriously dangerous area of Tennessee and the South in general. In Memphis, there are currently around 102 different gangs, and out of 500,000 people that populate the area, around 14,000 of them are gang members. It would be more accurate to describe the gangs in the area as a small army. Memphis houses every single major gang you can think of, like the Bloods and the Crips, but also dozens of smaller offset gangs. Memphis has been ranked in the top 5 most dangerous cities in America for multiple years in a row. Not only is Memphis dangerous, but it's small. In fact, Memphis don't even have a west side. It's just the north, south, and east side. On one side of Memphis is Arkansas, and on the other side is Mississippi. All 3 states are rural, but Memphis really acts like a hub between all 3 because of the I-55 interstate connection. So Memphis sees a lot of runoff crime from the surrounding areas. In addition to understanding Memphis, in order to understand Pooh, you need to understand his upbringing. South Memphis is one of the oldest sections of Memphis, and as such, it's also one of the poorest. It stretches from Midtown all the way to the Mississippi state line. In this area of Memphis, you will see as many churches as you do gang members, but don't let that fool you. South Memphis is a hotbed of crime, and Southern hospitality is rarely exercised in these parts of the city. A list of notable rappers from South Memphis includes Pooh Shiesty, Big 30, DJ Paul, Key Glock, Tay Keith, Young Dolph, Black Youngster, Big Scar, and Moneybag Yo. And that says something about South Memphis and its influence. Pooh Shiesty was born November 8, 1999, and right out the gate, he was being raised by a hustler. Pooh's dad is also named Lontrell Williams, but he's also known as Mob Boss. He was also the founder and CEO of a local record label, Mob Ties Records. So from the jump, music was a part of Shiesty's life. But not only that, so was the streets. A quick look into Pooh's dad's background reveals some disturbing truths. Here are a couple examples. In 2006, Mob Ties Records had an artist on their roster named Miscellaneous, and Miscellaneous got into a shootout at a Yo Gotti birthday bash where 3 people were shot. And then in 2004, Pooh's dad, along with another man named Stanley Andrews and a woman named Marquita Thomas, were arrested for being involved in the homicide of a local Memphis radio personality for Q107.5 named Rebecca Gline. According to reports on April 14, 2004, Rebecca was at home at her Memphis apartment. A man, now identified as Stanley Andrews, slipped past the building security guards and was wandering the halls knocking on random people's doors during the night. Rebecca got the knock on her door and without checking, opened the door for a stranger. According to Stanley's sister, Stanley told her over a jail phone call that when she opened the door, she started yelling at him, and so he just snapped. Whether that happened or not, we don't know, but what we do know is that Stanley would barge through the door, wrapping his hands around Rebecca's neck and would strangle her to death and then rob her. It's unclear if anything else took place, but when the police first arrested Stanley, they charged him with first-degree murder and perpetration of rape and aggravated rape. Pooh's dad was not on the scene when this happened, but was linked to the crime as an accessory after the fact and for first-degree forgery because he tried to help sell the items robbed from Rebecca after the murder. I highlight the story so that I can also highlight the kinds of conditions Pooh grew up in. Pooh would have only been 4 years old when the incident occurred, showing how young he was when he was exposed to the dark side of Memphis.
What you reppin'?
I'm 1017, the Dell, Chopper Gang, 4L. I'm from South Memphis.
Get your ass and shit, man. You wanna shoot, bro? Get your ass in that motherfucking car. You don't hit your head, nigga.
Before you think about playing me, just know you ain't got none to wear.
You got nothing to wear to your funeral, cuz.
You ain't got none to wear to your funeral.
You ain't got nothing to wear, cuz. So why would you play with it?
This shit ain't picked out yet, man.
Pooh's dad would be arrested again in 2007 for running a drug trafficking operation out of an apartment located at 784 Porter Street in Memphis. The police had been running surveillance on the location for a few months, and on this day, they decided to execute a search warrant after seeing someone enter the apartment with a black duffel bag. Detective Kittrell Robinson of the Memphis Police Department testified that when he entered the apartment building, he saw a man run from apartment 4 on the left over to apartment 3 on the right. The officer proceeded forward and said he could hear the sound of glass breaking and somebody yelling, "Go, man, go." On his way up the stairs, the officer would come face to face with the 75-pound pit bull who rushed the officer. The officer shot the animal 3 times and the dog retreated to the kitchen in apartment 3 where it would die. The detective continued to testify that he told Pooh's dad multiple times to come out with his hands up, which he eventually did after about 15 seconds. When they got in the apartment, they could see the shattered glass from the kitchen window with the shoe on the floor, indicating that someone had jumped out of the window. The officers would find and recover 12.5 grams of cocaine, 8 pounds of weed, 2 digital scales that were on the kitchen counter, a box of 9mm ammunition, a rocking tool that's used to cook crack, measuring cups, and a Smith & Wesson. Plus, they found $10,000 cash in Pooh's dad's front left pocket. Basically, Pooh's dad was helping run a trap house. Pooh would have only been 7 at this point, so within the first 7 years of his life, Pooh's dad would be arrested for murder and robbery, plus all of the charges from the trap house raid, setting the tone for what Pooh Shiesty would look up to from there on. See, Pooh's dad was engaged to Marquita Thomas, the woman charged with him on the murder case, and he had been with her for 7 years. Basically, Pooh's mom didn't live around him, and Pooh's dad was raising him with his girlfriend. According to the court records though, Pooh's dad was involved with his son every step of the way, taking him to school every morning, going to monthly parent-teacher conferences and so on. But when the bad outweighs the good you do, sometimes it's all people can see. Anyways, because of this, Pooh would be sent to live with his mom in Pflugerville, Texas, but that would only last 2 years before his dad was set free and Pooh moved back to Memphis. Pooh said that even though his dad was a rapper, he didn't have any intentions on becoming one himself. Instead, Pooh had major hoop dreams, hoping to go pro one day, but Pooh just couldn't avoid the streets forever.
Hey, come on, my nigga, I cannot pull up on Willie, cause we will let your ass have it. For real, this shit for real. Big job is going on.
When Pooh was only 11 years old, he was arrested for the first time on robbery charges. Pooh was actually only 11 years old also when he was expelled from his middle school for bringing a gun to school, an allegation he denied in an interview with DJ Booth. Pooh was arrested again when he was 14, but there aren't many details about the incident since Shiesty was a minor. But it has been confirmed that these 2 arrests took place, so it seemed like Pooh would be following in his dad's footsteps, jumping headfirst into the streets. When Pooh hit high school, he would be grouped with other teenagers from the city, some of who weren't from the same area. Memphis has hoods like any other city, but the city has somewhat segregated them from each other. Each hood has its own elementary and middle schools separated by train tracks that run through the city. The gangs in the city have used the tracks as a way to identify borders in the hoods of the city. Basically, the tracks are what set up the territories for the gangs. Growing up, Pooh never really had to interact with anyone from the other side of the tracks. But in Memphis, once you get past grade school, the chances are you will go to high school with other people from other gangs and neighborhoods that can cause problems. Pooh started attending Central High School, which is across the tracks from his hood. Being put into a position where Pooh had to interact with other gangs led him and his homies to start their own, called Chopper Gang. Don't be confused, Chopper Gang is not a rap group. In fact, Pooh didn't take an interest in rap until after high school. Although he did used to participate in freestyle sessions at lunch, but in the hood, everybody does this. Anyway, Pooh and his homies formed Chopper Gang, which Pooh described as an organization focused on getting money any way possible. Pooh did end up graduating high school, but only after attending a secondary school that helped him catch up on his missed work. After graduation, Pooh and the Chopper Gang began to generate some serious cash, and Pooh said it was at this time he started to take rap serious. A lot of people have reported that Pooh didn't drop his first single until 2019, but that ain't true. In 2018, Pooh's best friend Big 30, who was rapping before Pooh, would drop a song titled Breaking News. The track featured local artists like Pooh Shiesty and Chopper T, but at the end of the song, Pooh can be heard sliding in on the track at the very end. This has been reported as Pooh's first verse as well, but again, this information is incorrect. From everything I can gather, Shiesty's first song was actually titled Weak Ass Bitch, featuring K Carbon, and it dropped on September 8, 2018, and was a remix to 3 6 Mafia's song Weak Ass Bitch. The song garnered only a couple thousand views within the first week, but has since gone on to rack up over 1 million streams. After that, Breaking News dropped, and the song would hit over 100,000 views in the first week. But Shiesty would only release one more song titled Non-Stop in 2018. But in 2019, January, he would show his face again in a music video for an artist known as Baby K. They dropped the song titled Hit Your Block, and the video was shot by SMB Films. On the track, you could tell Pooh was really finding that unique flow he is known for while sliding on the same simplistic type of beat that would later blow him up. After only 1 month, Pooh would put some money together, hit the studio, and record his first official single titled Hell Night, featuring Big 30. Whether it was luck or just knowledge from watching his dad in the streets and studios, Pooh would see a phenomenal level of success with this single. He reached out to SMB Films again, and they would hit the rap game with the perfect combination, knocking out any doubt about Pooh Shiesty's ability. The video would rack up over 6 million views in a very short amount of time and would successfully put Pooh on the map. But everything that glitters ain't gold, and Pooh Shiesty's past would start to catch up with him.
Team splat, know what going on here.
Hey, we pulling up, boy.
No more games, you showed out. Your ass showed out.
See, while Shiesty was trying to make a come up, him and Chopper Gang was hitting diabolical licks before TikTok. He was in the streets heavy, trying to build an enterprise. In fact, growing up, Pooh was no stranger to violence, saying in an interview that in Memphis, everybody is guaranteed to have at least one friend murdered before the age of 15. In 2016, Pooh lost his best friend Trey Day. In fact, before Big 30 and Pooh Shiesty were best friends, there was Pooh Shiesty and Trey Day. Pooh has shouted out Trey Day in multiple songs, so it's clear they was close. Trey Day was a kitchen crip and a member of a local Memphis gang, Young Mob. Trey Day was murdered at a VIP nightclub while waiting on Shiesty to pull up to kick it. When Pooh started to blow up, the street started catching up and the beef came quickly. Big 30 signed a money bag, yo, but Shiesty stayed independent and grind hard until he got the attention of Gucci Mane, who eventually signed Pooh after reaching out to him on Instagram. But Pooh didn't only want to take himself to the top, he wanted to bring Chopper Gang with him. His cousin Big Scar, who wasn't even a rapper, dropped 2 songs after Pooh became a signed artist, and Gucci Mane came through and signed him too. Pooh Shiesty and Chopper Gang was the hottest thing coming out of Memphis, and the streets took note. Pooh Shiesty would start taking direct shot at another Memphis rapper named Big Boogie.
All right, let me clear this up, though. Ain't no beef, y'all. Ain't no beef, but why you say something back? What? A feature? A feature? A feature?
You can't pay for a feature right now.
My mom, you can't pay for one of my features, girl. Where you at? Let's go to the studio. Right now, let's go to your studio and do the jump. Come on. Tag him and tell him, yeah, I want to do the feature. Yeah, come on. I'm outside, cuz. I want you to just say what you just said on that status in my face. Come on, just do that. Just do that for me, please. Where you at? Get him on here, y'all. Get him on here, y'all. Man, broken hell, man. Where you at, cuz? Let's go do the feature. I ain't gonna lie, though. On some real shit, I gotta keep it so 100. I ain't never like you, cuz. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't never like your bitch ass.
See, I try to give you a pass with Shiesty, cuz.
Whopping 30 trying to get your bitch ass a pass. I never liked you, cuz. You know I ain't like you. In the street, like, we ain't gonna talk about that on here, though. We ain't gonna talk about none in the streets on here.
Said, add here.
Make your ass wreck again, big boy. Drive that, chop the whole down again.
All right.
Bitch, I'll kill you. Oh, I'll shoot you in your motherfucking head, oh. I can't wait to see your bitch ass. He ain't gonna say none of that shit. Can I pull up to your hood? You gonna drop your location? I'm trying to pull up. Call him, cuz. Drop his number or something, cuz.
Big Boogie is a rapper that is signed to Yo Gotti CMG label, and he is actually from Louisiana, but moved to Memphis as a kid, so his ties is deep, just like Shiesty's. The world was unaware of any problems between the two until Pooh Shiesty went live and started clowning Boogie. He would talk about how Boogie couldn't afford a feature from him, clowned him for a dance he did, and got real disrespectful. Big Boogie will respond by getting disrespectful back and sent some shots of his own. Apparently, Pooh had pulled up on Boogie before on some hit-a-lick shit, but Boogie didn't want any problems. Boogie claims that this story never happened and that he only met Shiesty once and they didn't swap any words when they met.
Man, come on, my nigga Shiesty, bro. Nigga, we ain't never had beef, we never had words or none of that shit, nigga. A nigga, come on, my nigga ain't worried about none of this shit, bro. Where your beef come from, big bro? Oh, my bad, let me fix that. Mr. Bad Guy, where your beef come from? We never had words, none of this, bro. We saw each other twice. Our word didn't even come up, nigga. That shit come up, nigga. That motherfucker ain't gonna fuck with me, bro. I'm just gonna keep it at that, bro. Motherfucker ain't gonna fuck with me, bro. Bro, I don't even know Pooh Shiesty, bro. That's the point. Why would I say something about Mr. Pooh Shiesty and we never had words, bro? But trust and believe, a nigga ain't worried about nothing, though. Red Rum ain't beef with no motherfucker, man. I'm talking about Red Rum ain't beef with no motherfucker, bro. You lying, you lying motherfucker. You a lying motherfucker. He been wanting to say something about Big Boogie on his page. Get your fucking money and shut up and keep going. Fuck you think this is, nigga? Man, you ain't no motherfucker. Who are you? You ain't no motherfucker, nigga.
Just like Pooh had Chopper Gang, Boogie had his own. His gang was called Red Rum. And Pooh Shiesty was so petty, he would go as far as to make his own weed packaging and name it Red Rum so that he could say he was smoking on Red Rum Pack, taking a note out of Chicago's book. The beef would hit its peak when Boogie had a concert booked for July 12, 2020 in Como, Mississippi. Boogie would take the stage surrounded by his entourage and was laying down a performance of a lifetime when over the music, gunfire could be heard. Somebody let off over 50 shots aiming for Boogie on the stage. Boogie wasn't hit, but a 19-year-old female named Jasmine Bradshaw and a 37-year-old named Elvie Wilborn were shot and would die from the incident. 3 more people were shot and another 3 were injured after being trampled during the panic, making a total of 8 victims in this incident. Over 5 different firearms were used, suggesting this was definitely targeted as there were multiple shooters. Jasmine, the young lady who was killed and shot on stage during this incident, was allegedly Boogie's pregnant girlfriend. The beef would die out after this, but it wasn't the last beef Pooh would be involved in. Less than 2 weeks after the shooting, and Pooh Shiesty would drop a song titled Twerk Song. The song wouldn't chart at the time, but it did build up a massive audience of people that were taking notes of Shiesty's witty disses to his ops. On November 6, 2020, Shiesty was at Savage Inc., a recording studio in Atlanta. The building has multiple studio rooms, and Dirk was there in another room. Shiesty said that he had the beat from a producer named YC, also known as Christopher Pearson, and laid down the hook and a verse. When he was done, he ran it over to Dirk in the other studio room. Shiesty said that Dirk listened to it and dropped his verse on it within 5 minutes. They finished the collab and dropped the song a few weeks later, which was a major success. Dirk was already on top with multiple songs on the chart at this time, and most of the world was there for Dirk's savage verse. But this was by far the point where Pooh Shiesty got introduced to a mainstream audience. The song would climb the charts, rising all the way to the number 13 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 and the number 6 spot on the Hip Hop Hot 100 charts. Doing hundreds of millions of streams in the first few months it was released, but while the world was focused on Dirk's part of the song, the streets of Memphis was watching and listening to Pooh's verse. It seemed that Pooh was rapping about some real street shit that had taken place. On Tuesday, December the 8th, Pooh posted a message to his Facebook story that said, "Drop that song and you ain't gonna live to see that baby get here," leaving the world confused as to who he was talking to. It wouldn't take long for the world to find out what Pooh was talking about. On January 1st, 2021, a Memphis street gang known by EBG dropped a music video titled Back in Blood over Pooh Shiesty's beat. It was a clear response to Pooh's verse, and the world was now made aware of the beef. On the track, EBG Jizzle can be heard responding to practically everything Pooh said on the original, and it featured another EBG gang member named Moose Slime, who would also throw shots at Shiesty. In the video, the gang can be seen gripping large rifles, small handguns, and wearing hoodies that have CGK on them, which stands for Chopper Gang Killer. It seemed that Shiesty's past was catching up with him, but he wasted no time responding by dropping a music video for the song, and then he posted on social media that he did 18 million views off the ops without dropping their names, and said that dropping the remix to his song was the worst mistake they ever made. EBG Jizzle's original video remixing the song was taken down multiple times because of copyright infringement, but the gang re-uploaded it again and again and again until the account was banned. So EBG Jizzle dropped another song titled Rumors, where he addresses the beef again. In the video, EBG can be seen on a video call with Quando Rondo sending secondary shots at Lil Durk because he featured on the song with Shiesty. This was a demon move because the day that Pooh and Dirk recorded Back in Blood, King Von was killed in Atlanta by Quando Rondo's homie Lil Tim after Von started beating Quando's face in. A few weeks after releasing his diss song, EBG Jizzle did an interview and confirmed to the world that their song was a diss at Pooh Shiesty. According to the streets, this beef originated because Pooh Shiesty ran down on EBG in North Memphis and robbed them of their guns and drugs. That's why on the song, he tells them, "Yeah, you know who took that shit from you, come get it back in blood." Basically telling them to shut up and retaliate. Within a few weeks, Pooh was making posts on social media talking about how one of his ops got hit. He posted and said, "Damn, that pussy diss, now he can't even walk." He followed that post up with another one that said, "Fuck walking, I don't even think bro talking," where he disappeared to. He then said, "Y'all ain't gonna put that in that next song, is you?" Then he says that shit's hot, clearly referring to bullets. The last post in the series said the ugly main one rapping, not the other kid. He next. The internet started spreading rumors that EBG Jizzle was shot and paralyzed, but he would go live saying that he was only shot in the arm. All this would do was bolster Shiesty's career, propelling him even further up the charts. On February 5th, 2022, Shiesty would see the release of his debut mixtape, Shiesty Season, which would peak at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 200, selling over 60,000 copies first week. Maybe at this point, Shiesty should have just chilled out and enjoyed his success, but the Memphis streets were too ingrained in him for a peaceful retreat into a lavish lifestyle. Instead, Pooh would continue to find trouble. While he should have been enjoying the fruits of his labor, Pooh would find himself in Miami. On October the 9th, the rapper would be involved in another shooting incident. Pooh, along with 2 of his Chopper Gang homies, drove to Bay Harbor Islands looking to make a transaction for some sneakers and some weed.
Lontrell Williams. Okay, good morning. Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest warrant. It was issued June 3rd. It's charging you with aggravated battery with a firearm. And you have 2 attorneys here.
In the video of the incident, the rapper can be seen pulling into a parking lot in a greenish-yellow McLaren and hopping out of his car. The seller of the merchandise pulls in behind him in a Mercedes and gets out of their vehicle too. After a few seconds, Pooh's 2 associates can be seen pulling out a Draco and another handgun and shooting the seller of the transaction. The seller was hit, but he would survive the attack. Pooh and his associate fled the scene, but left a duffel bag with over $30,000 cash in it. Police would indict the rapper and his 2 associates on discharging a firearm during a violent crime, conspiracy, and robbery under a law regulating commerce. They used pictures of the rapper that he posted on social media as evidence. Apparently, one of the serial numbers on the money left at the scene was linked to a photo he posted on the gram that had the same serial number. He appeared in court where it was revealed that the 2 victims gave conflicting testimonies about the incident, one saying that they were there to sell sneakers and pick up rent money for the McLaren Shiesty was driving, while the other said that they were there to sell weed. Pooh's lawyer, Bradford Cohen, who also defended Lil Wayne and Kodak Black in their federal gun charges, tried to discredit the victims and it seemed to work. The judge granted Shiesty a bond of only $30,000, which the rapper posted. Once bail was made, Pooh and his homies boarded a private jet and left the state. But that's not the only incident on record. On July 7, 2020, the rapper was charged for discharging a firearm out of a car at a gas station in an attempt to shoot an op. But that wasn't the worst for Shiesty, as he still had more legal trouble to come. On May 30th, 2020, Shiesty was at the King of Diamonds strip club in Miami, a popular hotspot for rappers to throw their money away, dancing and having a good time when apparently $40,000 fell from the rapper's waistline. Patrons of King of Diamonds rushed in for the money and successfully took it, which pissed Pooh Shiesty off. The rapper started acting like an infant, which led to security forcefully removing him. While being removed from the club, Shiesty would pull a pistol out, shooting the security guard in the leg. Shiesty was arrested and his bond was set at $10,000, but because he was already out on bond, he was forced to sit in jail until his trial for the other shooting ended. The rapper tried to delay the trial, but has since put in a request to expedite it. While initial reports claim the rapper could face up to 20 years in prison, the truth is the maximum amount of time the prosecutor can recommend for sentencing is 97 months. Shiesty has since said he will plead guilty. His trial was set to begin on October 25th, but has since been delayed for unknown reasons, and he has not been sentenced, but it looks like the rapper will face about 7 years in prison. Pooh Shiesty is a rapper who grew up rough in a troubled neighborhood with a troubled family. He was exposed to violence and crime at a young age, and that molded him into the man he is today. Shiesty was able to take some lessons from the streets and from his father and apply himself to create a massive musical career. The kind of career his father always dreamed of. While most would think that this would be enough, in this case, it just wasn't. The life experiences of Shiesty led him down a road similar to those he grew up around. Money and fame could never rinse the blood of the streets off of his hands. Now, Shiesty is set to face charges head on in court, and the evidence will either work for or against him. While 7 years doesn't seem like a long time, it's just long enough to take a bubbling rapper on the rise and turn him into a has-been. If Pooh Shiesty is able to maintain momentum during a lengthy prison bid, he could come out on top of the world. But in order for that to happen, he would need staying power and hits that are pre-recorded. Unfortunately, he has not been free since he surrendered, and his career was still fairly new. So the chances of him having a massive back catalog are small, but luck fortunes those who favor her, and so far, Pooh Shiesty has been a very lucky human. So maybe with a little luck, this won't be the end of his story. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, smash the notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a video. Be sure to leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about the life of Pooh Shiesty. And anyways, man, it was fun rocking with y'all. I'm out.